Good morning.
Good afternoon.
Good evening. Welcome to being here. I'm Ariel.
And I'm Shia.
Selber Selber.
That's right.
In other words, it takes one to know one. We love this term. It's a German term. We've learned it from our friends. When we head over to the European world, Selber Selber, it takes one to know one. Because often we've discovered people admire something about someone and don't realize that
if they didn't have those qualities themselves, they wouldn't recognize it in others.
I know that if you see someone or here's someone who plays
a musical instrument.
Plays a musical instrument, or you may really, really admire Taylor Swift and say, well, I can't dance, I can't sing, I can't compose. Yes, however, you have the ability to recognize genius because you are one. Shall we talk about listening? I heard the scream.
Yes, let's. See, if you really just listen, it's about letting what's being said come into you without passing it through the filter of your mind, without passing it through what you already know or believe to be true. So you just hear the words, and that's enough. You don't really have to understand. Understanding is taking what's being said and fitting it in with what you already know. We're trying here to bypass what you know to discover who you are.
If I bet you have a pair of sunglasses, and if you don't have one, you probably have at some point in your life. And sunglasses are not only darker, they filter out certain rays of the sun, damaging rays, or light that might be too bright or hurt your eyes. When you were talking about the filters of your mind, it's like if you've made a decision that you are less or stupid, or you heard something, you resisted it, and you now have this filter, and it filters out the recognition of your genius, just like it does the brightness of the sun with a pair of sunglasses. So let's just let those glasses go today and see what's possible.
Yeah.
Let's take our first guest just because it sounds like a great idea. Thomas, welcome to being here. Tell people where you're zooming in from.
Hi, my name is Thomas. I'm zooming in in this moment, from Cologne, regularly living in Hamburg, in Germany.
Great. Welcome to being here.
Thank you. I choose this theme, Selber Selber, by popping up into my mind. I often have the feeling that I'm really admire. For example, I have my friendship a really good scientist, and I'm always thinking, wow, I'm less. I didn't made it to a great scientist like him, or to something really, in my perspective, successful being. So often the time I'm clear, I'm diminishing myself. But
you may not be a professional scientist, but it sounds like you're a professional self-diminisher.
Yeah. Perfect. Yeah. That's true. I often have the feeling that I can do this. There's a musician, a singer, or my wife is singing, or someone is singing, and I can say, I never can do this. I never can do this.
So Thomas, you can listen to I Never Can Do This, or you can do it. You know, it's interesting. I remember when I was about 8 or 10 years old, I was in my father's factory in New York City, in Midtown Manhattan. He had a dress factory there where he had people making dresses for people, women's dresses, ballroom dresses, beautiful, beautiful dresses. And there was a fellow there, his name was William Salerno, I believe, and he was a pattern maker. And he had a drawer underneath his cutting table, and in the drawer were all these toothpicks. So I said to William, can I have a box of your toothpicks? I want to make a toy car. And he said, sure. And he gave me this box of toothpicks, and I never made a toy car. And I, at that time, realized that I wasn't very good at making things with my hands. Now, here, let's go 75 years later. I'm the same person, but I'm amazingly accomplished with making things with my hands.
In fact, he just got an email today from a fellow who met him out on the stream, who was so impressed with a fishing fly Shia had made. He wrote him to ask him what the recipe was for it, because he wanted to make one himself.
Your idea of yourself was put together at about age 8, 9, 10, 6, 5, 4, 3. When you first learned the language, which happened to be German where you grew up, and you were not as able as some people were. You know, you made the decision, I'm not very good at this.
Well, let's talk about English for a minute. Now, I know you speak a little fast sometimes, so it'd be nice if you keep slowing down so we can make sure that we tune our ears to your accent. We actually hear what you're saying. But if I set that aside, Thomas, your English comprehension and ability to speak it is far better than my comprehension of German and my ability to speak in sentences. I have words that I can pronounce.
Genau.
Selber.
Sounds like I know the language. I said, genau.
But which genau means exactly. I've learned that word because I like the sound of it.
We've liked the sound of it.
So I can say, oh, look at Thomas. He speaks English. I can't do that. I can't do that. Well, is it I can't or I haven't wanted to? I haven't put the investment in to speak fluently in German. And I was trying to recall which book it was in. It's in one of our earlier books. There's a story about when Shai and I were in Bali, Indonesia, Thomas. And we had purchased a statue from a woodcarver who was many generation down woodcarver, I.B. Oka, and he was also a white magician. It's a tradition in Bali there, that there are magicians. So he had said to me, when you come back to purchase this, I'm going to give you a little Buddha. And when I went to pick up or to pay for the piece of artwork, he had carved a little lotus blossom that when you opened it up, nestled inside about as big as a couple of joints of my finger, is a little tiny Buddha that was carved out of sandalwood. And Oka said to me as he handed it to me and wrapped my hand around it, he said, you put this by your bedside tonight and the Buddha will come to you in your dreams. And I was kind of like, yeah, all right, thank you. I didn't roll my eyes because I thought that was, I thanked him. But I did put it by my bedside. And that night I was having a dream. And in my dream, a little boy came up and asked me to do putt-putt golfing, which is like miniature golfing on a little miniature course where you go along and, they're little, it's something kids do. And the kid said, Ariel, can we putt-putt golf? And I said, oh, yeah, sure, but I'll go with you, but I'm not very good at it. And then Oka came in the dream and he was holding the Buddha in the palm of his hand. He held it out to me and he said, Ariel, that's not true. You're very good at anything you enjoy doing. And I woke up, realized, repeating that. So when you say I can't sing like my wife, do you want to sing? Have you invested in singing? Do you have a desire in that?
Good question. It popped up into my mind that this is a reason to poke myself with this stuff. I obviously not think I can't do. Now it popped up. Did I ever wanted to do this? It's like playing guitar. Did I tell myself I can't, but did I ever wanted it? So
I'm not sure that's a good question. Did you ever want it? The question is, do you want it?
Yeah.
And the question wasn't answered just now. Ariel asked the question, did you want to sing?
Do you want to sing in a choir like your wife does?
Don't shake a head here.
You need to speak.
No, I don't want it because I don't do it. Don't do it.
Wait.
Don't,
Thomas, there's no because. You don't want to.
Okay.
You may have the thought, I'd love to sing, but do you want to? I mean, I'd love to play a musical instrument, except I don't. So do I want to? The answer is no. From time to time, I have the idea it would be nice if I did. But usually it's to demean myself. Usually it's to compare myself to my friend Eric, who plays guitars and sings and is an actor and a lawyer. And he's a great man. And I'm not him. And I'm a great man being me. And you're a great man being you, not you that you think you should be, the you that you are.
Wow, that sounds great.
Well, it is.
You know, I know we chatted a little briefly before we started recording, and I know that you and your wife, Stephanie, are in Cologne. You're about to go see a performance by a couple of friends of all of ours, Ralph and Arna. They have a theater and they write, direct, produce a play as well as run a theater. And they're also starring in the show, and they're likely both to be in the show tonight because they know you're coming, even though they have understudies. So sometimes the understudies play for them. So you can either go enjoy the show, or you can be, I can't do that, which in a certain respect robs them. If you come out indulging and feeling less about yourself, then somehow
you weren't there for the performance. You were thinking about you. See, how about, the name of our first book, Working on Yourself Doesn't Work. See, if your attention is on you, you can't be participating in your life. It's all about how it relates to you, as though you are the center of the universe, rather than there's this universe and you're part of it.
Thank you. That's brought me back. It gives me the ground. That sounds so good.
Wait a second. Here's the thing. You keep on going back to finding fault with yourself. And your realizations are all about how you find fault with you for being you.
When you say it brings me back to myself, it's as if you were away from yourself. And that was a lesser state, and now you're in a greater state.
Yes. My mind is tricky.
It is. And by the way, that's a gift because everybody does that. So thank you for articulating that so clearly. Yeah.
It's not about getting you here. You're already here, but you get lost in thinking about you in comparison to your world rather than you are the projector of your world. That life is a projection of your mind, and how you interpret life comes through that point of view about you.
Yeah.
Okay, ready for a semi-trick question?
I'm ready.
Okay, so you're going to this performance tonight.
Yes.
What does every great performer need?
Fun.
That may be true, but the answer that I don't want to thump around looking for is they need a great audience. If there's nobody to be there appreciating them, then it's like they're doing it in a vacuum.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And
yeah.
Thinking, what is every good joke?
Timing, yes.
That's right.
Yes. But I really see, if you have attention on you, whether or not you could do that, then that's not that does not make a great audience.
Right. And it's all about listening. See, it's really all about listening. When you listen to another, you leave you alone. When you truly listen. If you listen and compare them to you, well, then you don't stand a chance of having a productive, satisfied life. You have the chance of being miserable because comparison always finds you less, even if you find yourself more in some respects.
That's true.
I mean, but then you're not there looking at what is. You're there comparing yourself to others.
And seeing where you fall in the pecking order of life. But that's change. Change is high, low, good, bad, better, worse, talented, less talented. It's all judgmental.
It's more or less, it's good, bad, it's right, wrong. It's not just being.
And transformation includes all the things like the talents people have, but it's not based in it. It's about being here for whatever is.
Yeah, thank you. That's, yeah.
Good.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
You're very welcome.
Thanks.
Thank you for joining us this morning, afternoon,
Evening, depending on when people are listening.
I was so nervous, but I'm really enjoying it.
Well, nervous only comes when your attention goes on yourself and you have a concern about how you will perform rather than being yourself, my friend.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome very much. It's that time.
The time for what?
Our listener feedback spotlight.
What is that?
Well, I'm so proud of the people who listen to this show. And now we get to hear from one or more of them about what's happening in their lives with transformation by listening to this podcast and
what they've discovered about life, what they've discovered about their lives, that they are experiencing fun in their lives.
And that they want to share it with you.
Yeah.
This is Anina in Thun, Switzerland. And something I learned in attending the Cane seminars, which is a blessing in my life, is listening. It is so good to listen to people in the way the Canes describe. So like from their point of view, taking what they are saying into me, because it makes my life happy. If I don't have to resist what comes in, it's a source of happiness. I love that.
Do you want to have well-being with consistency? Connect with people all over the world from the comfort of your own home at Errol & Shire's lively interactive Living Made Easy virtual seminars. join any of their 2-hour online events, or take a deep dive into the magic of being you at a virtual weekend seminar. Come on, let's connect. Find out more and register at transformationmadeeasy.com.
Shah and I are about to head off for our summer holiday. Dave in Winnipeg, we'll see you soon. But we'll be back for Living Made Easy seminars on the 27th. So in just less than 3 weeks, July 27th. And then on Monday, the 29th. And then we'll be doing creativity and intuition in person, New Jersey seminar, August 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. It's a Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday. There is still room for you if you'd like to attend. Our next virtual seminar
is Transformational Time and Project Management. It's September 28th and 29th.
And I'll tell you something. If you want to do it, sign up now. Just think of how much time you will save, not thinking about, oh yeah, I got to do that. Oh yeah, I want to do that. I should do that. I want to do that. Let me do that. I got to do
You
that.
know,
What?
I have to put a UV filter in our outside little fish pond.
Uh-huh.
And I have been
Thinking.
every time I walk by this our bedroom slider and I look out and see that little fish pond, I think I got to do that.
Well, maybe after this episode.
I will.
Okay, you will do that.
Just so it's done.
I like it. Very good. How about we take our next guest?
Yes.
All right, Natasha. Welcome to being here. Tell people where you are zooming in from.
Hi, I'm Natasha. I'm from London, UK.
Nice. Welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah. So far, so good. You've been enjoying the conversation so far?
Oh, it's been lovely to hear. Fascinating.
What's been fascinating about it?
Because I think I can relate to what Thomas has experienced. I've had those experiences and those thoughts as well. And I guess my question, or what I was going to ask, is, for me, it's professionally. I cannot see the genius in myself. I look at everybody else and I just think, you're doing amazing. Why am I not achieving what you have achieved?
Well, slow down.
I'm caught in that.
Yes.
That'll have you take your jacket off. Warm me up with that.
Okay. Well, first of all, you cannot accomplish enough to feel satisfied if you're not already satisfied. Okay? Mm-hmm. Now, look, by most people's standards, I know you. By most people's standards, you are highly successful.
Okay.
Weren't you the head of diabetes?
Well, I was gonna build it a little.
Okay, build it.
You're a medical doctor.
Yes.
Yes.
You are the head of diabetes for all of Southern
North London?
South London.
Yes.
Oh, you're good.
Say South London. I remember these things. So they don't put some bumbling fool in charge of all the hospitals in South London
for that
specialty.
True. Yes.
True. So, but you see, here's the thing. I can't convince you of your genius. You cannot prove to yourself enough that you are a genius, but you can experience yourself, and then you will discover genius if you experience yourself. All of the self-doubt and comparison is happening in your thoughts. You are not your thoughts. Thoughts happen in you. Okay. If you believe you are those thoughts, then you're not very good at anything.
Yes, that's true.
But if you look and see the moment you are fine being you in this moment. Oh, one other thing. Could you be different than you are in this moment?
No.
No. So you're perfect exactly as you are.
I also see it going back to listening, Natasha. If we're talking to Thomas about any subject, you can listen. You might take a side trip into how it applies to you, but you can listen. If we're talking to you, as it is with everybody, you have the natural tendency to want to shield yourself from potentially uncomfortable conversations, correct?
Yes.
And I really see it for most people. They get concerned they're going to hear something bad about themselves.
Yes.
I see people are even more worried about hearing something they might consider good about themselves. So that shielding function comes up. If somebody says to our friends Ralph and Arno, wow, that was a really great performance, I particularly liked, they have to relax to hear what the person has to say, because it's really not about them. It's about that person's experience. And if they don't let that person's experience in, if they are no longer being a great audience for that person's self-expression.
I'll have to remind you of that every time I tell you how beautiful you are.
See, we all have automatic rebuttals. And your conversation with yourself about how come I'm not as advanced as you about whatever subject, I really see that in direct proportion to the amount you don't want to listen to something that you perceive as complimentary about you.
Yes.
There's another piece in this. It's got to do with competition. That you're amongst incredibly competitive people. And competitive people not only want to prove how good they are, but they want the people around them to feel diminished. So they are better by comparison. And I am of the opinion, because I don't have any proof. I'm not there with you in all situations, but I have a sense that's very clear that you're around people who are competitive and who want you to feel like you're less so they can feel
more secure and feel more
in their insecurity. How's that?
You've nailed it, Shire. Absolutely nailed it.
Yeah. So look, my dear, I love you.
Yes.
And that love runs very deep for years now. I wouldn't lie to you. You are brilliant. And the world is populated by insecure people who are trying desperately to feel better by having the people around them feel diminished.
Thank you. Yes.
In a change world, Natasha, in the world that we've been, when you went to school, it wasn't enough to get an A, or I don't know how they do it in England, if it's 1, 2, 3, or, the top level. You want to be rated at the very, very top of the class. So you're always comparing yourself to other people. And it's understandable, and that continues on, and they're looking at hiring somebody who's not barely squeaking by to become a physician. They'd love to hire somebody who's the top of the class at a top-rated hospital or top-rated uni they went to school for. But in transformation, it's a win-win. And you see that when you come to our seminars. People do not get up and try to diminish each other so that they feel better. It's really about listening and and appreciating what's in front of you.
Well, I like to brag. And yesterday, I think it was yesterday, I was at the stream and I was casting a two-handed rod, which is for trout, which is it's called a spay rod. And it's like a dance for me. It's when done properly, it's just a joy, and it's incredibly accurate, and you don't have to worry about catching trees all around you because you don't make a back cast. In regular fly fishing, you make a back cast in order to load the rod to make a forward cast.
So that means the line goes flying behind you, and if there are any trees behind you, you get stuck there.
So there was this fellow who was walking along the river, and he stopped and he complimented my casting. I have been learning to spay cast for 15 years now, maybe more. And I've become quite accomplished at it. When I'm thinking about how I'm doing, I'm not doing very well. But I'm just there in the moment. My casts are extraordinary. And I believe when you are being the doctor that you are, the mother that you are, the wife that you are, you're extraordinary. When you're thinking about how to do it, you're not enough.
Yes.
So I have a question for you. Have your abilities I'm just do the physician one because you were talking about it at work. Why aren't you as accomplished? Have they expanded in the last 10 years?
In different ways than I thought that they should do, if that makes sense. It hasn't gone the trajectory that I assumed one should do. It's grown in other ways, which if I reflect on it is just as wonderful. It's different to convention.
Yeah, I'm not talking about your promotions. I'm talking about your ability as a physician to walk into a room, be with a client, see what's happening, diagnose them.
So since transformation, since I've started coming to your workshops, it's my connection to my patients that have transformed to the extent that actually, that although I've left my central London job, my patients are following me.
Mm-hmm.
And I truly believe that is because I have learned from you how to listen and to practice listening. I don't do anything magical. I just sit there and I listen to what their actual concerns are.
But when you listen, magic happens, you see.
It does.
Listening is the major ingredient in the magic we're talking about, where people's lives transform. And if you're hearing what they have to say and taking it in and not doing anything with it.
Well, I notice you don't want to directly answer the question. You don't want to talk about how you are an ever expanding possibility. I mean, you are so good at being humble.
Really?
Because I recall after that, I believe it was the first seminar you ever did with us. And then I don't know when we spoke to you next or what seminar. Maybe we had done something in Cambridge and maybe we came to London. I don't recall when we saw you after that, but you talked about how you were able to go into the wound care area and everybody got better. They just got better. And then there was nothing to do. They got better and you didn't know why it happened or how it happened. I would call that immediately an expanded ability, even if you don't understand how it happens. And you can say it's not a miracle, but if you are listening to them and the malady they come with is resolved, or if they live with it and it's something they're living with, but not as a problem or something that defines their life, is that not a miracle?
Yes, yes, it is.
Gosh, we have to work hard together to admit it.
Right.
Look,
here's the thing. You can find anomalies that prove that you're less.
It's a little bit like Shai says, here's a peach. It is so sweet. You are like this peach, and you rip it apart and go, you can't eat this. It's a pit.
Okay.
So you can find the anomalies, those things that are not the norm for how you are. See, if I say you're brilliant, you are brilliant, but you can probably find something that you did, something that you said
that was stupid.
Yes.
See? But I'm suggesting that you leave those things alone and realize that you are this magnificent being whose life has been devoted to taking care of other people. Period.
Now, I know Thomas isn't here, and his brilliances do not happen in the same arena as yours. But I recall the delight on his face years ago when he discovered that at that time, Shine, I really liked dark pumpernickel bread. And he went around and found a place with the best dark bread in the city. And he brought it to us in a bag, a cloth bag. He was so excited to give us this gift of something we enjoyed. And we even, after the bread was long gone, but the memory of his smile and that bag lasted for years. And we kept it in our car to do shopping with, because it was like a touching remembrance of him being with us. We all have these multitude of gifts that we don't experience. But if you're here looking and listening, you see other people experience. And then you can put on your glasses and shield yourself from what their gratitude, or you can let it in.
Yes. Oh, yes.
That is the key right there. Yes. Being a yes to how your life keeps showing up, because it shows up exactly as it does, like it, don't like it. But when you allow it and are yes to it, magic. The other thing is, when you say no to things in your life, you're basically getting stuck with those things you don't like.
Yes.
What you disagree with is what you bring home at night and keeps you awake at night.
Yes.
It's not the things you say, oh, yes, of course, and it's over. There's no resistance. When there's no resistance, it slides off you like water off a duck's back. When you resist something, it gets stuck on you like spaghetti on the wall.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Hey,
yeah.
It's always a pleasure to be with you.
Yes.
I love you guys.
Thank you.
We love you as well.
Mutual.
Always have.
Selber Selber.
Selber Selber. Yes. Yes. Oh, this was a lovely podcast. I hope you all share it with your friends or listen to it again. Listen to the nuances of how great you are. You are
just
great.
The way you are, not the way you think you ought to be.
Have you subscribed to our newsletter? If not, please do. You can find our seminars. You can meet wonderful people like Thomas and like Natasha and like yourself at them. You can sign up for anything that we have to offer at transformationmadeeasy.com. Next week's podcast, the episode theme is Paradise. We'll be back next week. So come on back.
And don't miss
being here.